This mod is simply too much fun, so it's time for more Kaizo and Mario Odyssey. In this episode, we're gonna get another insane batch of moons, and see this place set up in a way that's definitely not normal. Now let's put these into the Odyssey for a nice total of 216, and we're going to Cascade Kingdom. I'm excited for this. Cappy says the moon rock is glowing here too, so you know what? We should go break that. And might not be too hard to get up there since we have a new enemy in the water. What's this Gushan doing here? If we capture him and start to fly upwards from the hills, we can get just enough height and use just enough water to get all the way up. And now that thing is broken and it's time to explore. So as a reminder, we got Hammer Bros to break stuff here instead of the T-Rex. And I thought I'd just have to start by breaking all of the rocks just to check. There was nothing up here, but in doing this, I found Captain Toad off the side just chilling on his small platform. But now we can't see him. Whatever, we got the moon. Also, I see a glowing spot out on the edge of this thing. I like a challenge like this, where we walk on something thin off the map. Let's spin our hat on the top of the horizontal pole for that one. And then I went up to this area since there were some purples hanging over, and I found the big stump checkpoint. Might also be a good idea to try out our first sub-area, which is the Dino room. Immediately, the change is noticeable. There were a lot of Burbos before, but this is way too much. This cleanup is gonna take forever. At least it wasn't hard, just time-consuming. It took so long, the Dino ran out as I finished, and then I realized I still had one more to kill. Okay, there we go, main moon obtained. But the secret moon is more complicated. There's a rock down here that we can drop the Dino onto, but the problem is the moon spawns back up where we were. And how are you supposed to get back? The pipe that's usually to the left is gone, going around the sides doesn't seem to work, and for some reason you can't stand on the T-Rex after uncapturing. I'm going to protest against that. After looking around for a little, I tried this glitch where you can go through the ground by using the Dino's toe. I had never done it with this one before, so I wasn't even sure if it was gonna work. Eventually it did, but nothing good came of it. That's when I realized the answer probably has something to do with the patterns in the wall. Is there any place you could possibly stand in those? Turns out from the platform and the poison, you can make a far jump all the way over here, backflip up to another spot a little over to the left, then make one more backflip to barely reach the top. Okay, solve that one after some time. Now that we're out, I thought I would try taking the Hammer Bro and breaking some stuff. Everywhere along this path, basically. The main reason was because usually there's a moon under this electric pole. Well, not only is that not there, but the wire didn't even fall down. It's just floating now. Okay, so that might not have been it, but upon smashing some more stuff, it turns out this is the new busted fossil with a moon. Behind the Odyssey, there's a single cloud with a ground pound spot on top of it giving us another, and there's also a timer challenge here too, but the moon spawns at literally the furthest point all the way at the top. I knew I had to go really fast to make it up there in time. I took what I thought would be the most direct path and then realized there's no way I'm making that. Instead, there's actually blocks that spawn in front of the 2D area. Okay, now that we have that info, we should be able to activate it to start rolling quickly, make a somewhat close jump behind the waterfall, then scale up all of these to roll to the end and grab the moon just in time. Since we're up here now, maybe I should talk to this Bonneter since he usually wants a certain outfit. Mario, you need to get a job. Go get a job. Probably a nicer way to say it, but okay. After finding a couple more purples along the way, I went back down to where I was and saw that I actually had found something with the Hammer Bro earlier. There was a moon right under the rock used for Dino Skip Skip. Great spot. From here, there was a nice group of moons nearby. We could use the binoculars to look at the Sphinx, but apparently he is catching some good gusts of wind up in that thing. Eventually, he'll toss a moon down. Then there's free running here, which I was really hoping I wouldn't actually have to do DSS for. I didn't, because the goal was moved to where I just got the previous timer challenge moon. Although this time, I have Cappy, so taking the quick path and going up these floating islands is definitely the way to go. See, it looks like I'm behind for my placement, but nope, just teleport to first. I like the movement in this race. There's some cool changes, and it's not too difficult. After that, I caught the bunny jumping between all of these spots pretty quickly. Just had to make sure I cut him off in midair. Then I took inspiration from the Bonneter friend we just talked to and visited the shop. So we can buy a moon here, and potentially actually try to make it look like I work here by purchasing the Crazy Cap outfit. Look at me, I'm an advertiser for the store. You think they'll buy it? Well, guess what? They did, and they gave us a moon for it. So people just give you stuff if they think you're a responsible worker. I think that's a good lesson. And now let's continue along this path and finish off the bottom area here with the first timer challenge. This time, there's still 3 platforms, but they move way further and way faster. Basically, to get this, you jump on the first platform, then once it stops, it should be easy to jump to the second, but the third has a much higher gap to it. The jump has to be done very quickly, and if you miss, you die. It took a little bit of time for that reason. To get it done, I had to set up for a backflip and jump just as the platform stopped. This would barely get me up, and then I just had to take the final ride for the moon. Let's get it going with another sub-area now with this moon pipe, the Gusty Bridges. Honestly, when playing this now, I basically just jump over everything and don't even use the moving blocks. There were some things done to prevent this, however. This time for the secret moon, instead of just letting Cappy fly out to the switch, you just gotta trick jump. It is pretty easy to get enough distance though, so you just have to time it right with the wind. Then we have to jump back over, which is a little harder, but still doable. We can claim that moon, then actually just use the tall blue blocks at the end to finish off the area. On the outside, I noticed that the moon rock and the dirt wasn't there, but by some miracle, without even seeing it, I just stumbled into the thing on the top of this. Now it's pretty simple to break it open. We can go around the back area now, and instead of the chain chomp sub area, there's just a big chain chomp and a moon above him. So I guess this one is pretty simple to grab, and then we can just let this guy fall all the way down. Luckily, this moon pipe actually stayed here, so let's head in. And the changes, we have rising lava, and it does not stop, just by the way. There's plenty of time to jump up and grab the secret moon. However, getting all the way to the end before this hot stuff engulfs the moon is quite challenging. I had seen speedruns before on how to do this fast, and I think I got it down pretty well. Fairly quickly, I was making my way through, somehow got a crazy launch off this thing, but just barely missed the moon and died. Man, everything in here really has to be optimized perfectly. When to roll, when to jump, when to dive, it was all so precise. But after some time, I figured out the secret ingredient I was missing. Instead of trying to use the swings at the end and get a launch, just activate the cloud platforms. That is way more predictable, and finally allowed me to grab the moon. Oh, and look at that, there's another sub-area right by here. This is the one with 2D. However, entering the section at the start does not seem feasible, but that's why this other trick jump exists. Although it is pretty hard to do. It is possible to vault from this platform and then fly across this gap just to barely make the dive up. The wall jump really helps here too. At this point, we can enter the lower area, and this moon is slightly higher than usual, so we'll kick the Koopa and then run down this way to bounce on him. And now we can go to the top part of this section, and what the heck is this? It's actually not as bad as it looks, because we can just jump off of this platform going up, and with good timing, clear this whole thing. Finally, it takes a jump out of here to get to the secret platform, and one more leap all the way out to get up here and reach the moon. I enjoyed this one. Now I think we should do some more exploring for some hidden stuff around like these purples. And just after, I saw this moon chilling below the bridge, because why not? You could say that moon was a hat, skip, and a jump away. Wait, actually no, that's this moon right here. Traversing these clouds is way harder. They go upward this time and progressively get further away from each other. Not only that, but it's just really hard to see where to jump every time you land. I kept having to pause and check because sometimes the cloud would just be right above me. There were a few fails here because of how quickly these things close, but I got it down after a few tries. Okay, now we're pretty high up. So high, in fact, that I can just launch myself from all the way up here down to where the moon above the rubble is located. There's definitely an easier way to get that. I went for style points. Back to heading to the top of the kingdom, and I'll grab the 2D notes next. Now they're placed in spots where blocks must be broken to reach them. kingdom. Because of this, the first attempt was most likely not gonna work, although I just missed completing it. After that, everything was already set up for me, and it made finishing this much easier. Turns out there's actually hammer bros at the top of the kingdom to break stuff, and it looks like Peach and Tiara were just stuck inside that busted fossil. Good to claim another moon for rescuing them. And you know how these blocks on the arena normally can't be broken? Well, now they can be with this new capture technology. And come on, there just had to be a moon in that spot. Across the moving, floating islands, there were some more purples and a moon at the top of here. But what about the other islands around? It's clear the Gushan has to be used to get up there, but the only water supply is at the bottom. By the time I use the jets to climb the platforms, I don't have enough juice. But I mean, we could try to activate the moon we just got, ride the Gushan up, and grab that gray moon to refill the water completely. Awesome, now we can basically go anywhere. All the way to the painting platform for the secret path moon, and back over to this other island just as high up. When I was finished, I grabbed the hammer bro and continued breaking stuff. And when I reached this point, I noticed it looked like a flower challenge. But these things disappear way too quickly. I didn't know how it was gonna go at first. But I started testing with spin throws and found I seemingly had a bit more time if I started with these two. Or maybe it was just a better setup. Either way, all of these were blooming and we got it done. So I had used all of the knowledge I had of this kingdom and found myself not just one moon short, but instead 4. One of them is a traveling moon that should come into play later, so we won't worry about that right now. But what are these other 3? Maybe Talkatoo can help us yet again. Treasure Under the Arena is the first name we get, as well as the moons from the Chain Chomp sub-area. Okay, so it does still exist, but where is it? Well, the name for the treasure chest moon was pretty helpful, and I found it just hanging out down here. But how are we supposed to find where this area moved to? It could be anywhere off the edge of the map in a secret spot. I feel like I've checked it everywhere around this place. But then, I grabbed the hammer bro once more, and as I was breaking stuff, I made a realization. See, there's this green pipe that is supposed to take you to the top of the high cliff. What if these guys tried to be really sneaky and yep, it was hidden right there all along? That is incredible. And now we just have to fire all the chain chomps into the targets. It is a little bit harder with all these blocks around, and some of them have been turned sideways, but with enough tries and hitting them in just the right spot, it can be done. These are still some of the best moons. Also, this last one was definitely the hardest and most precise out of the 4. It felt good when I finally made that shot. Now, some of you might be thinking, why don't you just jump over and capture the last chain chomp to make it easier? What, you think they're just gonna let you do that? For any chain chomp over the poison, it just auto uncaptures you. And honestly, I'm really happy about that. The room just feels so much more complete with it. So that should be the last moons we need for this place. All we gotta do now is buy the purple outfits and souvenirs to finish it off. But wait a minute, I feel like I'm forgetting something. If you recall, in the first episode of this, after beating Lake Kingdom, we looked at this hint art, and this is a Cascade moon. So let's see if we can find it. Okay, so it appears that we have 3 islands, each of them with a moon on it, and a little X marks the spot in the middle of these 2. So what are the islands they're talking about here? Well, the checkpoint flag makes me think that this is the painting platform, so let's warp up there. Now, I know there was one island to the left of the arena with a moon, and also one that we got to with a Gushan. So is this the triangle formation? Well, actually, after panning over to the right, I realized that is probably one of them. This triangle formation makes much more sense. That means the hidden moon is right in the middle of these 2 platforms. But how do we find exactly where that is? Well, initially, I just kind of jumped off and hoped I would hit it. It did not seem to work too well, though. It wasn't down here, it wasn't on the corner of this floating platform, and it wasn't on the bones by the waterfall. The problem is, how do you know the exact distance between these 2 areas? How should you know where to line yourself up? Well, I did it by going to the exact spot of this island, opening up the map to see the 2 points, and literally took a ruler to put up against my TV. After lining everything up just right, it appears the halfway point is this. That spot on the map looks to be right here by the bridge. Hopefully, if I just keep ground pounding, we can... Oh yes, there it is! Let's go! Red Sleigh, I have conquered your puzzle. I feel accomplished now. And man, these challenges just keep getting better and better. I loved figuring out out all these. But what a day it has been for Kaizo. I'm nervous for what's coming up next, but I'm also super excited. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.